Hi, Sean Kelly here with RWAM. Welcome to 2025. We're going to take a look at the San Diego real estate market and how that's going to affect you. But first off, just a point of a serious note is my condolences and all of ours here at RWAM goes out to the folks that lost their homes and possessions and hopefully not their lives up in LA fire. It's something that we live with if you live in Southern California or anywhere in the West that's impacted by this. So again, our hearts and prayers go out to you, and also help in support. So getting back to it, San Diego, we had a great year this last year. The real estate market actually seemed to stabilize, so I think that's pretty good. What I'm going to do here is just going to take a look at some charts and some information, and we're going to take a look at it from the standpoint of what happened in the past and what we think that may portend for the future. So we're going to say, take a look at the past and where does that go coming up in the next year or two. So starting off with sales price. So again, we continue to see sales prices go up, but what's really interesting is we actually saw the peak of the market in the spring, and then over the last 5, 6, 7 months, we actually saw prices come down. Which is, I think good for most people that are out there trying to buy right now. So again, that typically the last quarter of the year is always slower than the spring and the summer. But again, the trend was more pronounced and last, specifically for the single family and the condos. We saw about a 6% increase in purchase price or value on the single family and only about 1% on the condos. Again, the condos are attached product are kind of sneaky good. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. Okay, next, we're going to take a look at closed sales. So the closed sales actually have plateaued over the last 2 years. So we actually saw more sales in 2024 than we did in 2023, but not quite as much as what we saw in 2022. So again, the market seems to have stabilized over the last couple of years, which is good. And we're going to start seeing a little more inventory coming in the market, which is going to help basically booster the sales volume. The next thing here is inventory of homes that are sold. So again, what you notice here is there's a dramatic change in 2019 and previous and 2019 going forward. On average, we're seeing about 4,000 units on the market. That's both attached and detached. And that's actually been fairly consistent. There was a drop off here over the last few months, but that's consistent with the fall time slower sales. But that's in stark relief from pre-2019, where we on average saw about 10 to 12,000 units on the market. So there's just not a lot of inventory. What's really happening is people that own houses are not putting them on the market. They're staying put. We're not seeing as much, upward mobility. People have houses, they're going to stay there. So, and I don't think that's going to change much. So moving forward, I do think that we're going to continue to see basically a tighter inventory, even though houses are more expensive, and that's going to keep the prices up. The next thing here we're going to take a look at is new listings. So new listings actually have been trending up. We saw basically a bump up from 2023 up to 2024, and I think that's very encouraging. Again, looking forward, I think people now realize that interest rates are not going to come back down, and so I think it's a new, and I think we're going to see potentially more houses come on the market. Now, not significantly more. We're not going to go back to 10 or 12,000, but again, even if we only see 10 or 15% more inventory coming on the market, that would make a big difference. The other thing to take a look here on this particular chart here is that there's almost 2 or 3 times the amount of housing on the market in the prime season, that's the spring through early summer, than there is in November, December. And that's both a good time. Most people that are selling their house, they want to prep it in the spring, and they want to get it rolling, and they want to make it look nice, and then hit the prime season to get the top dollar. But again, if you're a buyer, not a bad time to be out looking right at the end of the year or right at the beginning of the year. Next thing we're going to take a look at is the percentage of list price received. So I like to use this as a matrix because what it really talks about is how hot the market is. How much of a buyer's market is versus how much of a seller's market is. And what's very interesting here is that we had this COVID madness like that happened right around COVID, and people were overbidding houses left and right. I mean, it was crazy. We got up to 107, 110% of list price. What's going on now is over the last couple of years is we are back to the mean. We're actually back to kind of a normal San Diego market where we're getting an average about 97, 98% of ask price. So that to me is another encouraging sign going forward that we're not in some crazy hyper market. Next thing we're going to take a look at is the Housing Affordability Index. So this is a tale of I don't know, 3 cities here, and it's really a tale of woe and despair. I hate to say it, but I'd say the middle of this chart shows a healthy market. That's kind of from 2016-15 up through about 2018-19. Prior to that, we had the post-mortgage meltdown, and then what we're in the quadrant we're in right now is basically a super tight supply and not enough, and a lot of buyers that want to buy. But basically what this is showing is that back right after the mortgage meltdown, 100% of people in San Diego, the average income person could buy a condo and 75% could buy a single family house. We zip all the way forward to where we are right now. We're down to 40% of the average income person affording basically a condo and only 26% on a single family house. So, looking forward, is that going to change much? Again, we need more inventory. And again, we're not really seeing a ton of new housing built. And again, right now, most of the existing homes are actually also tied up. So, but I do want to leave you with some positive notes here, something to think about here. This chart here now shows basically closed sales, and it's a bar graph that actually breaks it out by purchase price or sales price and also square footage. And what's amazing here is that 60% of all homes that were sold in San Diego County last year were sold under $1 million. And almost 47% of those were under $750,000. The average square foot, again, it was under 2,000 square feet. 71% of homes were under 2,000 square feet. So it basically says the majority of homes that are sold here in San Diego County are under $1 million and under 2,000 square feet. Okay, what does that mean to you? So I want to give you a concrete example here. If you would go out and look at a house at, say, $950,000 and put 20% down on that, your mortgage payment would be just roughly, in current rates that are about 7%, would be roughly $6,200 a month. That would mean that you and your family would have to actually earn about $165,000, assuming you don't have a whole lot of other debt. What does that look like? Let me show you right now what that looks like. There's a listing on the market right now in Vista. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-and-a-bath house, completely updated and remodeled. It's on about 1/3 of an acre. It's got a nice backyard and 2 really nice porches. That house is currently listed at $900,000. It's probably going to go overbid. It's probably a little bit underpriced right now to create basically activity on it. But probably at $950,000, yes, you could buy a house like that. So there is hope going forward. There are houses out there. You shouldn't be discouraged. There is a way to get into the housing market here in San Diego County. And if you need help with any of this, especially getting pre-qual to get one of these homes, please give us a call here at RWM and we'll take care of it for you.